So let's consider this sequence. We want to find the next two terms of the sequence. So in order to do that, we need to figure out the pattern. We can see that from -4 to 2, we add 6. From 2 to 8, we add 6. From 8 to 14, we add 6. So our next two terms, we'll add 6. So 14 plus 6 is 20. And 20 plus 6 is 26. Next, we want to find a recurrence relationship. So we actually already found this. We need to take our previous term and then just add 6. To find an explicit formula is a little more difficult. First, we need to realize that by adding 6 repeatedly, a repeated addition is a multiplication. So I'm going to be doing 6 times n. However, you'll notice that in this case, if n is equal to 1, a sub n should be equal to 6. And if n is equal to 2, a sub n should be equal to 12. And that's not what we have here. We start at -4 and 2. So to turn a 6 into a -4, I'll subtract 10. So minus 10 would give me -4. 12 minus 10 is 2. And we can see we now have the correct pattern. So let's look at another one. This one starts at 40 and then goes to 20, 10, 5, 2.5, etc. So we can see that here I multiply by a half or divide by 2. To get from 20 to 10, same thing, from 10 to 5, and then from 5 to 2.5. So I'm going to be repeatedly dividing by 2 or multiplying by 1/2. So 2.5 times 1/2 is 1.25. And then 1.25 times 1/2 is 0.625. So we now have the next two terms of the sequence. To find a recurrence relation, we just found that. We'll take our previous term and multiply by 1/2. And this can also be written as a sub n over 2, since multiplying by 1/2 is the same thing as dividing by 2. To find an explicit formula, we should realize that by repeatedly multiplying by 1/2, we're actually doing 1/2 to the n power. And you'll notice here, if n is equal to 1, I have 1/2 to the n, which is just 1/2. When n is 2, I have 1/2 squared, which is 1/4. And this is not what I actually want. Actually, it's changed. This was 40, 20, 10, 5, etc. So, I don't actually need a half here, I need 40, which means I would need to multiply this thing by 80, since 80 times 1/2 is 40. I would also need to multiply this one, because 80 times 1/4 is 20. So now I actually get the terms of the sequence. So 80 times 1/2 to the n.